Everyone shows you the P&L, but nobody shows you the reality, the discipline, the routine, the late nights, and the mental game. This is for the traders who know the charts are only half the battle. Welcome to the Wednesday Beyond P&L show.
Hello, everyone. Hello, Frederica.
Hello. Hi, Jake. How are you?
I'm doing great. How about you?
I'm good. I'm good as well. Thank you very much.
Perfect. Hello, guys. Welcome to the first stream, the launch of Beyond the P&L. Hope you're all doing great. Let us know in the chat how is your week so far. Wednesday, middle of the week, so I hope you're all being profitable and successful. I'm going to kick off the stream probably with letting you know how is the stream's going to get. So what we're going to do on these streams, I would love to have it as a conversation between me, Frederica, and you guys in the chat. It's going to be very entertaining. First of all, we're going to probably introduce ourselves so everyone knows who we are. We traders just like you are. Then we're going to introduce the show, the mission and the vision of the streams. And eventually, I'm going to also tell you about the giveaway that we are doing today. And then we're going to dive straight into the topics. So I think we are fine based on a chat. So let me
I think
start
that
with
everyone wants to know about the giveaways. So it's good that you anticipated that you're going to shortly let them know how they can win.
Yeah, definitely. Let me briefly start with the introduction. So guys, I'm Jake. I've been trading for over 12 years and been trading all sorts of styles, my own capital, investors, prop firms. I've got a lot of experience on different strategies, but I guess my main strategy is macro fundamentals. In case we'll dive into the markets, maybe you will appreciate that. Also, I've been working within the industry for quite some time, and I think the knowledge, the insights that I have collected over the years are going to be very helpful. I have analyzed countless of traders, so I think I can pass a lot of tips, a lot of insights on you. So that's just so you know who you are, who am I, and I would pass the mic to Frederica so you guys also know something a little bit about her as well.
Thank you very much, Jake. So, my name is Federica. I am working as a CFO at Audacity Capital for quite some time now. But I don't know if many of you know that when I first joined Audacity, I was just someone that wanted to learn how to trade. So I started as a trainee here at Audacity, and slowly I learned, and then I mastered, let's say, my strategy. I mainly trade on gold. That's my favorite asset, and I know that many of you can relate on that, especially over the last I can see that a lot of our traders just prefer specializing on one asset, that is gold. What else? I think it will be really, really interesting what we are going to do here. Also, because as Jake was saying, we want this Wednesday behind P&L to be as much interactive as we can. And I'm pleased to see that we have traders from all over the globe. This thing, Jake, is always it always amazes me. Oh, it's someone's birthday today, so happy birthday. And we have people from South Africa, we have people from Haiti.
All around the world, yeah. I was checking on chat.
So yes, let's start diving into that.
Perfect.
Into the
Before we
interesting.
do that, let me just introduce you to the giveaway, guys, so you know what's going on. So today we're doing $25,000 giveaway. It's separated to 5K accounts, and how it works. Basically, we value the activity in the chat. So we are collecting all of your names within the chat. Eventually, at the end of the stream, we're going to download and put it on the list. And we're going to do it with the wheel of names. So randomly choose 5 traders that we're going to give 5K evaluation. How you can tell if you won, basically after the stream, go to the Instagram and Twitter. We will post the story or the post on Twitter with the 5 names that are going to be given this evaluation. If you will see your name on the post, then just message us on X. but you need to send us a screenshot of your YouTube profile so we know that your name belongs to the winners. And if you do that, then we're going to send you the free evaluation. Pretty simple. If you'd have any questions, leave it in the chat. I'll definitely answer it at the very end, because the structure of this live stream is going to be, we're going to dive into some conversations regarding different topics, psychology, discipline, routine, and then at the very end, we're going to do Q&A. If you have any questions about Audacity Capital Company, anything that interests you about this prop firm, you can then ask your questions at the very end of the stream, and Frederica will be happy to answer all of your questions. So without any further ado, I think we can dive into the first one. What do you think, Frederica?
Let's go for that. Yeah, sure.
Perfect.
I'm ready.
Okay, so we're going to do it the way that we have collected a lot of confessions from traders. We're going to bring one confession at a time. We're going to read it. We're going to react to it. And then together with the chat, we are going to try to find some insights, some tips that we can give to traders who are struggling, who are, find it difficult to overcome certain challenges. So with that being said, let me bring the first confession. By the way, guys, if you'd love to provide us with the confession, feel free to type it in the chat. So the first trader said, passed evaluation with perfect discipline, 21 days of patience, funded login hits at 7:43 a.m. by 10:15 a.m. I'm 3% in a drawdown, 2 trades, both stopped out. My first live movement, and I'm already down. I didn't change. So I guess the first one is a lot about drawdown. I think that drawdown is a natural phase in every trader's journey. I mean, whenever you're trading for 20, 30 years, from time to time, you're going to run into a drawdown. And I think the best way how to deal with it is, in the first place, accept it. I mean, you can somehow influence the drawdown or the size of the drawdown by adjusting your risk management, because it's a huge difference if you have 5% drawdown or 1% drawdown. But I don't think you can avoid being in a drawdown. What do you think, Frederica? What's your take on this?
Well, avoid the being in a drawdown. No, I don't think you can. Well, I mean, you can manage the drawdown. Here I can see that 2 trades, 3% in drawdown. It means that we are already like risking a considerable amount of the account in those 2 trades. The first 2 trades of the live account. And in a very, very short period of time. So it's 1 hour and a half, 2 hours and a half here. Yeah. And, really, did you respect your setup? Like for real, like you got 2 setups in that space of time that required that amount of risk. So maybe and he concluded saying, I didn't change. I think that something did change here, because in the beginning of the message, we see like a perfect discipline, very patient, 21 days. And then as soon as you get the live account, you have like straight away 2 trades that bring you like in a drawdown like that. I don't know. But what is important is that the moment you realize that, I hope they manage to step out of the chart. After 2 trades that are not going that well, and you're already like 3% in drawdown, maybe that's not your day. So you need to clear your mind a little bit, especially if you're starting on a live account, because you want to make sure that you start, with a fresh mind, with a proper mindset on that.
It's interesting what she said. Basically, from the very start, it was all okay, and then from nothing, basically. And this happens to a lot of traders. You are trading evaluation, you're being profitable, everything is cool, and then basically the moment that you smell the payout, you start to act a little bit crazy. You either start risking too much, or you're not strictly following your plan. I don't know what is it about traders, but I guess I did pretty similar mistakes. Whenever you're that close to the payout, you're making most of the mistakes. But yeah, I don't think, guys, we will find any like holy grail on how to avoid drawdowns. In my view, the only thing you can do about it is adjust your risk management. and just try to handle your emotions better. If you prepare for the fact that it's going to happen, you may take it a little bit better than other traders, right?
Sure, but the problem here, I think, is the risk management is not a problem, because at the end of the risk management, it's something that you can calculate. You know exactly. I'm pretty sure that all the traders they have like a pretty like solid risk management plan in place. They know for each setup how much they need to risk for each for different assets, maybe different volatilities. So I'm pretty sure that. The majority of professional traders, the majority of traders, also our traders that trade with us at Audacity, they know exactly what to do.
Mhm.
What change is the psychology, because up until you are trading on a challenge stage, on a verification stage, you are still testing. So it's like you are allowing yourself to make mistakes. But then once you get onto the live account, you want everything to be, you try to rush. You try
Yeah.
to anticipate things, you try to force things a little bit. So what changed there is not the risk management. I mean, it does change the risk management, but not because the rule changes. It changed because the psychology, the way you have an impact to the live account has changed.
Yeah, I agree. I definitely agree. I just highlighted one comment. Someone said trading isn't about just reading a chart; it's about mastering yourself, which is really true. Because in the head of a lot of traders, trading is 80% the mental game, the risk management, the emotions, and just 20% the charts. Because you've got a ton of strategies that are actually profitable ones on the internet that you can start implementing right away. But dealing with yourself can be sometimes the hardest thing. I have prepared for this specific example because I have already read the confession, a trader that we have at Audacity Capital, and this trader did basically the same. Get into funded stage, and the first 2 days just got into a drawdown of about 7%. I think it was close to 7%. That's also why I believe it's a good thing to have bigger drawdowns, because drawdown limits. Once you experience a drawdown, if your limit is 10%, you're okay with it. You can survive it. I'm going to just show it on the screen. It's basically this trader. This is his trade profitability, but you can see at the bottom of it that it's a 60K account, and first 2 days he was 4.6K in a drawdown, and then he survived, and he basically got all the losses back and eventually achieved the payout. I think that Shiva got a payout of 5,600 eventually. Which is a really nice result.
There is only something. It's normal, as we were saying. Like being in a drawdown, it's just part of the game. It's
Yeah.
how you react from the drawdown that can give you basically like how fast you are going to reach the profit afterwards. In the screenshot that you shared earlier, where we were actually seeing like the equity, the balance line, I think, of this trader. Now, you can see it's almost like trading. You can see that in the beginning, he made a low, and then he recovered and made a lower low. So why you are allowing yourself to go even, more down than the previous drawdown? Like this is something that I would have done probably differently. But of course, like one thing is analyzing like a statement, an account from the outside, and a different thing is when you are there. But assuming that you're starting with a 10K account and you are already in a loss of like 2K, so your account is 8K, and you do your best to bring back the account into the initial balance, and we know that it's not that easy.
Yeah.
There is one thing when you need to grow the account from the balance, but a different thing for the compounding thing is when you need to reach the balance again and then start accumulating profit. So why allowing yourself to lose even more than the original 8K drawdown limit that you already like put your account into? So this kind of like things is always a little bit difficult to manage when you are into the account. But it's possible to. I think this trader is just like proving that even if you are in a drawdown, it doesn't mean that you cannot recover. Because we have a lot of traders that they reach out to us, say like I want to reset, I want to start fresh. Why? Because my account is in a drawdown now.
Yeah, I 100% agree. I mean, it's probably one of the hardest things when you need to trade while you're being like 5% in a drawdown. That feeling that you need to first win back all those 5% and then you start earning
Yes.
is not a good feeling at all.
No.
Also, one of the topics when speaking about drawdowns that I wanted to just mention, and that I think like majority of traders do when they get into a drawdown, which is revenge trading, so doubling the positions, things you shouldn't do. So I've seen a lot of traders when they achieve the first or when they run into first drawdown 2%, they're immediately starting doubling the positions to get back into profits as soon as possible, or then dealing with the FOMO, basically looking for any opportunity on the market, even if it's not part of the plan, and taking any trades just to try to win it all back, which you should not do. Just strictly following the plan. Every trader should have one, and yeah, just be okay with it.
It seems like the most simple thing and the most simple easy advice to give, but it's really like it's all there. Like the more you can stick to your plan and follow basically the rules that you gave yourself, the better it's going to be like in the long run. Not because you're going to avoid necessarily the drawdown. Maybe you are going to find yourself there, but dragging yourself out of that is going to be easy. I agree. Like the problem is that you want to reduce the time of being in a drawdown. So the passage from being in a drawdown back to balance, and then from there starting working for your profit, they want to shrink the time as much as they can. So that's why they start like revenge trading and all these kind of things. You need to go through the pain. That's it. There is no easy way to say that, but you need to go through the pain. If you are in a drawdown, just embrace it slowly. You will exit out of that.
Yeah, that's well said. You need to go to that. Someone said there's no 100% win strategy. That's why we're having drawdowns. So yeah, it's very obvious. You can let us know what you usually do when you hit your drawdown. If you have any holy grails, traders, if you meditate, whatever you do, I would be pretty interested in what others do when they run into a drawdown. If you have experienced it, if not, then I think you're not going to be missed on this. I think with that we can continue with the second. What do you think with the second confession?
Yeah, sure.
All right. So let me bring the second trader, which says 32 trades this week, but only 9 actually hit my plan. I started green on Monday, stayed at the screen too long, and started trading boredom. And by Friday, I lost it all chasing noise. I didn't need more setups. I just needed to walk away. Yeah, that's also good, but 32 trades a week is quite a lot. Well, it depends. What type of a trader are you?
Yeah,
if you're a scalper, it could be okay, but I don't think that trading should be about quantity of your trades. I mean, I've seen a lot of traders who got a decent payout with only a couple of trades.
Mm-hmm.
So you should not be basically taking every opportunity. I mean, maybe the biggest lesson here is just to following strictly your plan.
Yeah. Follow your plan, and also I'm going to say something now that it can be a little bit a controversy, okay? But I think that trading has to be boring. Trading must be boring. I said that. I said what I said. Like it should not be thrilling. It should not be. That's how you learn to. That's how you know that you have learned to detach yourself from the market. Because if you still have that thrill to enter in the market, to follow or to just chase a setup that maybe is not really there, it means that you are not doing it for the right reason. You're not doing that professional. Also because when the setup is right, it's just gonna like yell at you, and there is no need of like thousands and thousands of indicators of whatever it is. Like no, like if it's right, you will know because it's just going to be part of your plan, a plan that you have back tested so many times that you'll just need to have like a quick look at the chart and you know when is the time to trade. But the problem is that especially for scalpers or for intraday traders, that they spend so much time in front of the charts that they start developing this feeling, and this is something that we have experienced also like back in the days on the floor. Like you go to the office, okay? So imagine this scene: you go to the office, you wake up early, you take the tube, you go there, you log in, like mentally and physically you are there. You have a job to do. What is your job as a trader? Placing trades into the market. Wrong. The job as a trader is to analyze the market, but only 1% of that job is to eventually place that specific trade. So sometimes the best decision that you can make is just to stay out of the market. And it
Yeah.
needs to be, the majority of the time is boring. Majority of the time you just sit there and you just like you analyze, you chat with other like fellow traders, and just that's what was going on for us back then.
Yeah, I like that you said it exactly. It is boring. Maybe it's very exciting from the start. I mean, my beginnings were very excited. I guess that's for every trader. When you get into trading, when you see the potential, how much money you can make, it's
Yeah.
awesome. And you've got this drive. Everything is great. But then after a couple of months, couple of years, it basically should become your routine. And the enjoyment is not in there as much in certain proportion, but it becomes your job. Most of you guys, I believe, that's going to be technical traders. So you are looking for every day or every week for some sort of a pattern or a market that repeats certain structure, and then you go for a trade and you're looking for that one thing, and that's what you should do, right? If the market is not doing that, then you're not entering the trade. And it works pretty much same with macro fundamentals. I also do the same in my strategy. And after a couple of first years, I mean, already third year was boring when I was trading, just looking at the same thing every day. And if market is showing up to me, then I'm going to take it. Yeah, as easy as that, probably.
Exactly. I think that is when you realize when there is that shift from trading is exciting to trading can be boring. That's when you can realize that that's it. You got your edge into the market now. You are professional because you are able in that moment to leave the emotions out of the chart.
Yeah, that's it. The emotions. When actually you said it really well. When it started,
Thank you.
it was my example. Well, yeah, I can relate to that a lot because when it started become boring to me, that was when basically I not abolished, because you can't really abolish all the emotions, but you will just learn how to trade with them. You're not going to be as angry when you lose. You're not going to be as happy as when you closed your first profits, but I think that's only better because
You start recognizing your emotion and you
yeah.
start giving like the right name to each emotion that you are feeling in that moment. Because sometimes this is what happened with revenge trading as well. People just enter, enter, enter. Why? They are excited. No, they're scared in that moment. So if you are scared, why you are scared? Because you are losing money, because you are already in a loss, because you have bills to pay. Newsflash: if you need the money from the market, he knows he's not going to give you. So you need to name your emotions. If you're not in the right mindset, it is 100% better for you to just go get an ice cream
Yeah.
or whatever.
And guys, I spoke to so many successful traders and they view it pretty much the same. It's boring after couple of years, they're not as excited, even though they make very decent money. I spoke to traders who made 6 figures in payout, and yet they don't anymore show this excitement. So I guess it's natural process of becoming a trader, full-time trader.
Yeah.
All right, let me just double check the chat because so many messages coming in.
Yes.
Would love to see what everyone is saying, but I think thank you guys, by the way, for more confessions. Just spam the chat with it. I'll definitely go to the chat. And on the next Wednesday, because this show is going to continue every Wednesday, we're going to bring the ones that you are going to write down today on the next one.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Okay, I think we can go on the third one. In the matter of this one, I also found a trader. Basically, I can show it to chat. Why not? So I've got a trader. I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing the name wrong. It should be Sochi, and it's a trader who got paid recently this month, 5K, which is a very decent payout. Congratulations. And that is the trader who actually did it on 6 trades. This is the equity, but I wasn't looking for the equity. I was looking for the trades. So these 6 trades and 5K payout. And that was all from 25th to the 1st of this month. It's a couple of days. Sometimes that's the only thing you need. A couple of wins and you receive a nice payout. All right.
And I can see that she was only trading on gold.
Yeah. Yes, exactly.
This is like a new topic of conversation, like I think, because there are like 2 different school of thinking on that. Like, do you specialize in one asset, or once you have your edge into the market, you can apply to each and every other asset? I am a little bit 50-50 here. I only trade on gold, but I didn't start like that. When I started on Forex. Then eventually, because of like the studies that I did like back in university, and it was just making sense for me. Also, because of what I'm doing now at Audacity, I don't always like have the time to analyze multiple charts or things. So I like it. I just like it. Let's just keep it simple, even in this case. But I have to say that I do believe also that in the moment a trader finds like an edge in an approach, let's say an approach to the market. It can be applied to different assets. What do you trade?
Me, I'm mostly trading Forex, but so currency pairs. But recently, I also started trading gold and oil. I do strongly believe that there's a power in single instrument trading, because as I said from the very start, I have analyzed countless traders, and usually when it was successful trader over the longer period of time, he was focusing on single instrument, single asset, and I think there's so many advantages. I'm not doing it anymore, but as I said, I've been in the market for 12 years, and I'm macro fundamental, so I need to diversify a little bit. However, if you're going to focus on one instrument, you're not going to waste so much time on analyzing 6, let's say, if you're trading Forex, gold, indexes. There's the markets move differently. The markets react to different factors whenever it's economics, geopolitics. So if you're going to learn one instrument and master that, I genuinely think that your chances of becoming a successful trader are just higher. And
faster, I think.
Yeah, as well, faster. Yeah, definitely. The learning curve should be faster if you're just focusing on one. But it's also the fact that most of the traders, they have 9 to 5 and they're trading, so they cannot afford to go full time. So if you just be focusing on one instrument, you can't go wrong because you're just going to be master of that instrument. And gold, as you said, you're trading gold. I think in recent years, the gold is really good instrument for beginners. Generally speaking, for everyone.
I'm not sure. Really volatile for beginners. Like you need to know. You need to know where to put, your levels and your stops.
That's true. both traders that we've showed, they were gold traders. Just a fun fact. Both the 5K payout from Sochi and Shiva, the 6K payout, both were trading gold actually.
I don't know. Let me tell you something, because I'm trying to think about myself back in the days when I started. I don't think I was able to handle gold back then.
Mhm.
No, I think it's something that I needed a little bit of training on some more quiet pairs, and didn't even go that well because I started trading on pound New Zealand.
Oh, that's an interesting choice. That's really
I
interesting
would
choice.
still, I would still have like nightmares about pound New Zealand at night. It was just awful. Really.
Well, everyone to everyone suits different assets, so it also depends what strategy you're trading, because I have proven that my strategy that I used to trade, a technical one when I was starting out, worked on Forex but didn't really work on gold. So also depends what you guys are trading, right?
Yeah, of course, and how you're trading 100%.
All right. So too many messages, can't really keep up
Oh,
with you
I
guys.
want to go through some messages.
Yeah. I mean, most of you guys are right. Someone saying monitoring several markets is loads of work and may be stressful and overwhelming. Focus is the key. Mastery is important.
Yeah, I love currencies the most. A lot of them.
Yeah, would be very interesting. Guys, let me know in the chat. Just type either Forex, gold, or indexes. Would love to know what type of a traders we have here in
Yeah,
the chat.
I even got lost myself into the chat. I don't know what questions am I reading.
I have marked the questions, so probably we
Okay.
can
You
return to
are
them.
pro.
Wouldn't say pro, but I have.
100% better than me.
I need to. Okay, yeah, my way. Bitcoin, cryptocurrencies. Yeah, haven't traded crypto for quite some time. Gold, dollar, forex indexes. So mostly, as expected, forex and gold. I think that's going to be like the majority of traders.
Yeah, some indices as well.
Yeah.
Pound yen. Someone is saying like pound yen. Pound yen is
Pound
also
yen
like
was
really,
great.
really like aggressive. It's not
Yeah.
that.
I mean, I remember times about 10 years ago when pound yen was the instrument that I was trading like 2 a.m. in the morning, when I had still
Exactly.
this hype of a trader. It was like 1.5 years that I was trading. And I was even trading during the night. So, and everyone else was sleeping. I was just looking at the pound, Japanese yen, if I can take any trades. Remember that clearly. Also interesting choice though.
True. I was never able to do that. Like I remember for some time I tried to pass from being like intraday to swing trading, which basically meant to me like staying up. Not stay, it did mean that, but because of me, like my personality or all of that, I was not able to sleep at night because I had position open. So I was just there like trying to monitor, trying to see what was going on. And I remember that I had like a couple of weeks of miserable life because technically I was working, so I was in the office in the morning. Overnight, I was just like that. I remember I was in bed, but I was just like looking at the chart on my phone just to see what's going. So miserable. And then was the moment when I realized, swing trading. I know it's for a lot of people, it's just like the safety, but for me, it was just not the case, and I just moved back to intraday.
There's a lot of advantages to each different style. Me personally, I'm most of the time swing trader, but sometimes I do scalp. What I like about swing trading, that the P&L is not moving crazy. When I'm scalping, it's the matter of few seconds. When I
Yeah,
go from red numbers to green numbers, and my emotions are just like a roller coaster when I'm seeing jumping the price up and down. While being a swing trader and just holding the position, it's risky because you hold it in overnight, but genuinely, I believe that it's less stressful than scalping or day trading when you're making multiple decisions throughout the day, adjusting the stop loss. need to be in line with the news, with the data. I don't know. You are a day trader, Frederica, or
Yeah, day trader.
day trader?
I need to sleep 100%. But you see, that's the beauty of trading in general, and that's why a lot of people say like there is the winning strategy. Okay, that sometimes I hear like I have this winning strategy. It's a little bit like a stretch here because technically, what can be a winning strategy for you cannot be a winning strategy for me. Why? Because we say that earlier, like 90% of trading and 90% of results of in trading are coming from psychology, are not coming like from the rules, written rules. So eventually, it's not when you enter into the trade. Of course, it's also like that, but once you get into the trade, how do you manage that? Because a lot of people think that you know the answer to all their question is the best entry. No, that's just like 3% of your job. Then you know you need to manage the trade. You need to manage yourself. You manage your expectation. You need, maybe you are in multiple positions, so you need to manage like multiple of them. So entries are the easy part in a way.
I definitely agree with you. I think, at least in my view, the psychology, I would say, makes about 60% of the whole trading. Like if you combine all the factors, then there's 50-50 risk management and the actual strategy, but the majority goes to psychology. And it has been proven throughout the years. I mean, there's already a couple of concepts. The tortoise strategy that was given a few decades ago to traders, just given the strategy that was profitable, traders were actually successful with it because they were following the plans. But if you'd follow as a trader, as a beginner, the strategy, and you get into, and you wouldn't follow exactly the plan, and you would panic or adjust your stop loss differently, there's so much going on when you open the trade, and every trader deals with it differently. So
And I'm gonna give you another one. Exit strategies.
yeah, that's also the topic no one's actually really like a care about. Everyone is
That's one
thinking
of the
about
most important
entries.
things. Everyone is knows how to. Everyone knows how to enter into the market because either you know or you have 100% like an indicator, an EA, or something that is telling you when to enter. But that's why, like, how do you manage that, and how do you know when you need to get out of there? Because there is a moment that the market is going to, reverse. Market doesn't go in a straight line, and that's why we are doing like the best job in the world, really, really and truly, because you have like 50-50.
I'm
But
surprised that. Yeah, sorry.
when do you exit? When do you get out?
I'm surprised that a lot of traders don't really think about it this way, because majority of traders, they look at the risk-reward ratio. So they enter the trade and they want to have a risk-reward ratio 2-1, so they know where the stop loss is, and they place the take profit on the level where they receive the 2-1 risk-reward ratio, but they have no other explanation why the take profit should be on that very level. And I don't think that many traders thinking about exit strategy. For me, it's pretty simple because I focus on economics. Then when the bias of the market changes and it suggests for me that there can be a change of the structure or the reversal, then I'm out of the market. But when it comes to technical traders, they can have some resistances, supports, or certain levels that they are willing to exit on because they believe market can react to that specific level. But I haven't really seen a trader talking about, I'm exiting the trade there, not only because of the risk reward ratio, but because there is a certain strategy behind this. So
Traders always want more.
yeah,
There's
well, that's
always
true.
more. So something, and I think that someone in the chat is saying that trailing stop loss. Do you like them?
I think, yeah, I do. I have used it a couple of times, not all the time, but when you get into a decent profit, I think it can be very beneficial. Uh, News might be released, you're not paying
Yeah.
attention, you're at least going to cover a little bit of the profits. Yeah,
Mm.
I like that. What about you?
No,
Really? How come?
because let me put it that way. The moment I will put like a trailing stop loss or something that is not my original stop loss or a break even, I use a lot of like break even. But if a trade is in profit, I like to see what is happening, because maybe there is and not only because of the news, but maybe there is like some sudden like volatility that is happening in that moment, but it's not disturbing like your trade or your trade idea. So if you put like a trailing stop loss and the idea of the trailing stop loss, then you decide like the parameters. But technically, like the price, if the price move like 10 pips up in my direction, move the stop loss like accordingly and things like that. What if you have like a little bit of a week? It's not disturbing any structure. It's not disturbing any trade idea, but you can be taken out. So I would use that only if I cannot be in front of the screen. If I'm in a trade, I want to be like I want to know what is going on. But again, this is because I'm an intraday trader, so I like to monitor, I like to see, and all these kind of things. So if you are a swing trader, then of course like you can't be looking at the total data, so it would make sense. So even in this case, I think it's just a matter of like the personality that you are bringing
Yeah.
to the chart. At the end of the day, I do see the platform as a mirror. That's how I always like I've always seen it like
In
it
what
is
sense?
able, because it you can realize a lot about yourself by the way you behave in the market, by the way you behave in the chart. So I always seen that in as a mirror, like the chart, and of course like the account statement. Hopefully, gets better in time, the account statement, different account statement. But yeah, I've always seen it like that.
Interesting. I mean, there's certain points that I agree to. As you said, if you are monitoring the chart, if you're being confident enough in your strategy, then you don't need trading stop loss. If it's a small wick, a short correction that is going to fade away in a few minutes, then yeah, it's good. Sometimes the trading stop loss can trigger it, and then you can even close more profits if you wouldn't set it up in the first place.
Yeah.
Makes sense. Some traders, I guess it's also me, are not as confident sometimes. That's why I'm bringing the trading stop loss to it, just to cover at least some of the profits, then to end up on a break even, the break even again.
You know what the thing with the trailing stop loss is you need to make sure that your we have like two parameters that are really really important in trading. Okay, parameter number one is the winning rate. Parameter number two is the RR ratio, risk to reward ratio. Okay, if you have a very high, good, decent winning rate,
Mhm.
you have no issues with trailing stop. But if your
Okay.
winning rate is not that great, okay, you're still profitable, because both of them they can I think we all know that you don't need to be on top of like both parameters. But let's assume that your winning rate is not that high, but you are only like trading on risk to reward ratio setup of 1 to 3, 1 to 4. Then you risk by triggering like by applying the trailing stop, that you risk to exit that trade before your take profit would be hit. So it's fine, but you will need to be careful on how you use that, because if your trailing stop loss then get hit like multiple times, and maybe you didn't get to the 1 to 3, 1 to 2, but you're only getting to 1 to 1, that's the moment where you need to make sure that your winning rate is higher.
That's true. That's a solid point. Yeah. If your strategy is already set up, if I understand what you mean by that, if your strategy and your trading plan is already set up with a certain risk reward ratio, then it doesn't make much of a sense to close it earlier to follow the strategy, right?
Unless you set up the trailing stop loss once from one level, from one point onward. You make sure that in your pocket that there is at least like a 1 to 2, a 1 to 3, a 1 to 4, depending on each and every one side. Because otherwise you will need to adjust the way you see it. It's just, again, it's just mathematics behind it. It's not and it's not rocket science. It's just like very, very easy and simple. You just need to realize where you are standing and what is your starting point. From that point, you can always adjust, because you either adjust on one side or you adjust on the other side. That's all.
That's true. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Let me just take a look, because I wanted to bring also the third confession. However, you started that topic before I had a chance to bring it in, because the third one that I was given is about trading single instrument.
Sorry, that's me. I always like to talk too much.
No problem. We have already discussed that, and we've proven the point, hopefully, that if you're a beginner, at least in my view, I'd really recommend you to go for a single instrument, not overcomplicate the trading.
I agree. Focus on one thing to begin with. Then, you can allow yourself to look at other things. But if you're a beginner, you're just starting, slowly.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we also proved the point by the traders showing up, both of them that we have already showed you. They were both trading gold. Also, last week we had a trader, I think it was $8,000 payout, the Russell from United States.
Yeah.
I believe so. I've got somewhere the payout as well. Yeah, here we go. And Russell as well, he is just gold trader. He doesn't trade anything else, focusing on one thing. Already 2 payouts, 10K in total since the start of 2026. Another successful trader that is basically just confirming that single instrument is a certain advantage. Let me briefly take a look into the chat if I have missed something. I have definitely missed it, but I'm glad we have a lot of topics for the next streams.
Yes.
Really appreciate it, guys, saying all the confessions and the topics we should be discussing. Because as we said from the start, this is the lounge. We wanted to have a conversation with you, and we wanted to know what basically are the challenges and the struggles that you are trying to overcome now, so we can bring it back on the next streams and just deep dive into that. And we have a lot of the topics, to be honest. Yeah. Any tips for gold? Well, I'm not a gold trader. Do you have any tips for if a trader decides, okay, I'm gonna listen to Frederica and Jake, I'm gonna choose one instrument and it's gonna be gold. Any tips that you would give to gold traders?
Ouch, no, I can't, guys. Like I can't. No, careful with gold. Like make sure that you have like your risk management like in place. You are strict to yourself. You need to be like really, really strict to yourself when you're trading gold. Sometimes, especially like in the early stages of a trader's career, I'm sure everyone has done that. Okay. Let me move a little bit that stop loss.
Yeah.
Let me move it a little bit. It's going to reverse. I'm sure. I know it's going to reverse. I just need to be patient and wait for that reverse to happen. Like don't.
Yeah, I think that is one of the worst mistakes that even I do sometimes after 10 plus years in the markets, that I sometimes move my stop loss, and probably about 8-9 times out of the 10 times that I do it throughout the year, it's not ended up good. So I would recommend it. myself, I'm fighting with it. I don't know if you do it as well, Frederica, or any
Of
of you.
course, of course. Pound New Zealand. I told you, like I'm still
Yeah.
like having nightmares about it. And I remember back then. Let me tell you like a fun story of that. Like back then, I called Karim, and I was like having this big loss. Like, and he was like, "Why did you get yourself into this mess? Like, why on earth? You know that is the wrong thing. Like, why did you?" I was like, I don't know. I was just not thinking, and whatever it was, like it was like the first year that I was there, and he was like, you need to take the loss.
Yeah.
You need to take the loss because you deserve to lose. You don't deserve the trade to get back and for you to like break even or make profit. You made the wrong choice. You need to pay for that.
And that's the hard decision. Yeah. You see the loss, you're going to move your stop loss. You're going to say, this is the level where it can reverse and it finally can turn the trade. Then you're going to move it one more time. And then you say, okay, I'm not having it anymore. I'm gonna drag the loss into my limits, and I either lose my account or I'm gonna win this trade, which is the worst possible scenario. And I know I have done it. I know most of the traders have done it. Basically, moving the stop loss so many times that it ends up in the conversations that you are having with yourself. I'm gonna keep it till I reach my limit.
But because you know what the problem is. Is not losing like the monetary value. I mean, it is, of course, it is. I don't want to say like things like, of course, it is that, but it's not that. Is the idea of like being wrong
Oh yeah,
multiple times because maybe like you keep moving the stop loss. So the idea of like being like proven wrong like multiple times, and that's human nature. Again, we are talking psychology here.
yeah. I mean, for us, men, could be even a little bit harder to do so. Men and our egos, we can't be wrong, so sometimes we pay the price for that. Yeah,
It's true.
that's a valid point. All right, let me.
Let's see what they're saying.
Thank you guys, enjoying the stream. We appreciate that discipline. That's true. We've got a lot of topics to discuss next time. We've got a lot of topics. I mean, I guess we can move on to the stage where we can do the Q&A.
Yes,
And
sure.
while you'll be answering the questions, I'll make sure I won't miss any comment, already writing down all of the topics that we
Sure.
can discuss with traders next time. So guys, now is your chance. You can ask Frederica any question that you might have regarding the company, the update, anything that interests you.
Yeah.
And in case, I'll have also some of the questions from the Instagram. Probably before traders start asking the questions in the chat, I can bring one from the Instagram. So let's start with the first one. There's quite a lot of them. So I'm going to probably share it on the screen so you can see it in case you would like to also yourself. Question one, and it's going to be this one. So you should be able to now see it. Why is the 2-minute rule implemented, especially in tropical markets for scalpers?
And because we want to protect you guys. Exactly for that. Because it's fine to, I think here is, there is the reference to directly to scalping. It's not news trading. News trading is 3 minutes, I think. If you enter into a trade and you are not even sure that your trade can last for 2 minutes, that's high frequency. It's something different that we don't do. So we want to make sure that giving you this rule, we want to make sure that you really enter into the setups that are really like A plus for you. You don't just enter into the market for the sake of entering. So it's a way that we have to protect you guys, you traders, even from yourself.
Okay, perfect. Just before we continue, that's a good question. Why you guys don't share the charts? I'm just going to quickly answer that because that's exactly why we came up with the show Beyond the P&L. Because if you go throughout the prop firm, broker, trading industry, if you take a look at brokers, prop firms are influencers within the trading scene. All of them are sharing the charts, markets, setups, forecasting, and many traders are already overwhelmed. And no one really is paying attention to the factors that we just point out, the risk management, trading psychology, emotions. And that's why we would love to discuss that with you. So
Yeah,
as someone said, with the number of the topics that we have from the chat, the next stream is going to be probably 3-hour marathon.
All right, I don't mind.
Okay, so there was a question from a guy in a chat. I'll just quickly find it. It was, I believe so, about scalping, but yeah, here it is. I guess a trader is asking, what is the maximum allocation at Audacity Capital?
2 million.
2 million. Simple, perfect.
Simple as that.
That's quite a lot. Imagine making like few percent on $2 million. You can make 2% a month, and you have a.
You make 1% a month and be fine. 0.5% per month and still be fine.
That's true.
But that's the beauty of trading at the end of the day. But that's also like why psychology is really, really important, because once you get your approach, your setup, let's call it that way. Okay, your strategy for simplicity. Okay, you can implement that strategy it's just like a matter of like zeros that you will need to add to how much you are putting in as lot size or the account size that you are trading. At the end of the day, the decision it's simple. Either buy or you sell, and then how you manage. But then how much you can get out of that trade, it depends on the capital allocation, how much you're managing. And of course, like with scaling plan, with the different like account sizes that you can trade with, it's completely up to you.
Someone is asking in the chat if you recall anyone from recent months, years, who had like a decent allocation at Audacity Capital.
Yeah, recent months. Yeah, more than one.
All right. Must be nice. But also then it's, I believe so, when you get into the bigger numbers, you must have either like bigger or not bigger, more strict discipline on yourself, because the emotions are multiplied the more capital you trade. So it's not like you get 2 million and I'm going to be trading 2 millions. I'm good with 1% a month. Actually, I think for majority of traders would be very difficult to go from 100K account to 2 million account. And I think most of the traders without having experience to trade in bigger account would eventually fail that.
Consider that you don't even need to go that far. We have a lot of traders that struggle and they need to, repeat that stage multiple times just by passing from a 5-figures account to a 6-figures account.
Yeah.
That is already like, having an impact on them. The moment you start seeing that if the trade goes against you, it's $50, $60, $100, $200 against you, and then it goes back into your favor. Imagine when you pass on to the moment where the trade is going against you, 2K, 3K, 10K, 12. It goes into profit eventually, but there is that exact moment when you place the trade at the market. Most of the time it goes a little bit against you before it goes like into your direction. So that moment, one thing, it maybe is always like the same, like 10-20 pips against you. But again, 10-20 pips can have like different values depending on the account size that you're trading on. So you need to be ready to see big numbers, but in the red first.
Actually, when I started about 8 years ago when I started trading investors, my friend recommended me don't ever look at the numbers in a dollar wise, just look at the percentage.
Yeah,
Just
yeah,
just care about it as a percentage wise account balance and don't really give a damn about the dollars. You've got a strategy. Most of the traders, they don't calculate the stop loss based on how many dollars they can afford to
yeah.
lose, but how many percent. So I think that's the way to go as well.
100%. 100. Best advice was not given, to be completely honest with you.
Yeah. Another question, can I copy trading on all my accounts?
If they are your accounts, 100% yes. If you want to copy trade from a third party, from a friend, from someone that is offering the service, from someone that is asking you to pay for this service, we don't accept it. But if you have like multiple accounts with Audacity Capital, you have multiple accounts with us or with different funding providers, or with your personal money into a different like broker account, you can copy between those accounts. Of course, you will need to be able to prove to us your master account. You need to show it to us. That's it.
I guess that's for traders who don't have a patience to scale it slowly to the 2 million and want it right away. So probably buying multiple accounts is also the solution. And with that question, also someone is asking, tell us a little bit more about scaling plan. So can you introduce to traders how does scaling at Audacity Capital works?
100%. So it depends on which program we are looking at, because I think that most of them already know that we offer three different programs. We have the Ability Challenge, we have the Ability One, and we have the FTP, the Instant Funding program that we offer. When it comes to FTP, that is our like first program. Of course, it updated over the years because we needed to. We listened to our traders. Back then, it was only for Forex traders, and then we added gold, indices, cryptos as well. So we are offering like multiple asset classes as of now. But the beauty of the FTP, of the instant funding, was exactly the scaling plan. Why? Because the job of the funded trader program trader was very simple. He needed to reach a specific target, 10% target. The moment he was reaching that 10% target, we were doing two things from Audacity Capital. We were sharing the profits with them, and we were also at the same time doubling the size of the account. So let's assume that someone was starting on a 15K account, $15,000 account. In as little as 5 minimum trading days, he reached the 10% target. He received a share of their profits that can be like 50, 60, depending on how fast he managed to reach that target. And also he started to trade on the $30,000 account. Again, simple job, reach 10%. You have no restriction on time. So it completely depends on you. Of course, if you reach your target in less than 30 days, you unlock 10% more in the profit share. It's like a gift, that a prize that we want to give. But it doesn't mean that if it takes you longer, you are not getting your share of profit. That is still like a decent share of profit. So with FTP, you just need to reach a certain profit target. As soon as you do that, you receive your share of profits and your account double. So in literally like 5 minimum trading days, you can pass from 15 to 30,000, and then to 60, 120 to 40, and so on and so forth, up to the $2 million account. With the Ability Challenge and Ability One is a little bit different, because once you get onto the live stage, onto the live account, you basically request your payout. You can request your payout on a bi-weekly basis. You have no target to reach, so it's completely up to you, the pace of your withdrawal request, and of course like the amount that you want to withdraw. So to scale your account, meaning to double your account in size, your account is your profile, actually not your account, but your profile is reviewed on a quarterly basis. So what we are going to check, we are going to check that on each month of that quarter, in your account or in the multiple accounts that you had at least when I say multiple accounts, is because every time that we reset an account, you are given a different login. Okay, so it's not like you have multiple, so we consider like, no, it's just like for the same stream of accounts. We are going to check that you have achieved at least 2% in profit for each of those months of that quarter that we are analyzing, and you have requested at least one withdrawal. If that is done, you are eligible for your account to be scaled and doubled in size. Simple as that.
Yeah, I think that's really fair. And most of the traders will appreciate scaling opportunities, especially the ones who are looking into the long term or longevity of their game. The scaling plan is something that they prefer to have. And there's so many questions I haven't really expected that. So I'm going to probably, how much time do you have, Frederica, to answer how many questions?
Okay. Shall we go like 5 more minutes?
We can one more question, and then guys, I'm gonna all of the rest I can save on the list. As tell us about if there's a possibility of merging accounts or how's the payout process. So many questions. Don't worry, I'm going to write them all down, and probably the last one right after tell us more about scaling plan was this one. I think it's going to be a quick one. How much I can risk in a challenge phase? If I'm not mistaken, there is a 15%, isn't it?
That's the drawdown. That's not how much you can risk. I hope they are not going to risk the 15%.
Oh, no. Okay, you mean by trade. Okay, now I understand the question.
No, let me tell you, we don't get involved in how much you can risk per single trade, because we do realize that we, among our traders, we have scalpers, we have intraday traders, we have swing traders, we have different kind of like personalities, let's put it that way. So, of course, there is the golden rule of trading, which is to never risk more than 1% of your account when you are at balance or above. So if you are a little bit below, I would suggest to even like decrease it a little bit, but it's not a rule. For the ability challenge, we provide traders with some of the drawdown limits that are the highest in the industry. Because in the challenge stage, you have an absolute drawdown of 15% and a daily drawdown that is static, not trading, is static, of 7.5%. So let's say that, you have quite a good margin of maneuver, let's put it that way, to navigate into your challenge stage.
All right. Yeah, 15% is quite a lot. And it also is a huge benefit when we were actually in a first confession describing the drawdown problem. Exactly. And when it comes to trading, just wanted to say that the more you're going to risk per trade, the more the drawdown is going to hurt. So instead of being 5%, risk a little bit lower, and you can be just 2% in drawdown, it's way easier to get in from that situation. Yeah, questions keep going, but if you'd have any more, guys, just leave it in the chat. I'll definitely get back to it.
I think now is the time that a lot of them were waiting for, right?
Yeah, you mean like for the questions or?
No, for the giveaway. No, am I wrong?
Oh, for the giveaway, yeah, of course. I'm gonna do the wheel of names, which basically works that I'll just download the names or the list of all of you guys who were in the chat, and then I'm going to paste it in the wheel of names. I'm gonna spin it 5 times. I'm gonna be given 5 names, and the 5 names I'm gonna post on an Instagram story and on X post. So I'm going to just remind that if you are going to see your name on our Instagram or X, just send us a message on X with a screenshot of your YouTube profile, so we know the YouTube profile belongs to you and you're going to get the free challenge. I think I'm making that clear. Let's see in the chat.
And if you haven't already, like us on Instagram and follow us on X. Did I say right?
Yes, you did. Yeah. And also, if you'd have any additional topics, just feel free to leave it in the Instagram message or X message. If you would like us to discuss certain topics, or you would like to provide us with the confession, I'll be glad to have any additional confessions to discuss. So please do so. I would really appreciate that. And I think with that being said, we have discussed the topics we scheduled. So I hope, guys, you've enjoyed it, and I think we are good to go for the next session.
Yes.
We have a lot of topics, so
I
a lot of
know.
sessions.
Exactly. We just need to listen to them. This is what we have been doing for the past 14 years. This year is our 14th year in business, and things have changed and evolved a lot. Like both within Audacity Capital, but across the industry in general. So we needed to learn and adapt. And one of the things that we have always done is just like listening to our traders. We don't always like accommodate everything, of course, but what we can we always do things that we think we can do for them.
Exactly. So
the last thing was the consistency. They were hating the consistency rule.
Oh yeah, I mean,
the consistency rule.
I would say most of the industry were just about that. It didn't really play well, and I think traders really appreciate having a possibility to trade without consistency rule.
Yeah.
All right. I think we got it all. Thank you so much, guys. Appreciate you coming here, showing up, and being active in the chat. Do really appreciate that. Thank you so much, Frederica, for being a wonderful co-host. And we'll see each other then on Wednesday next week again.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. I'll see you next Wednesday.